Good morning, everybody. Wednesday morning, Mr. Schmidt here. Hope you're having an okay day in the heat. I'm just getting a lot of questions about the novel study, so I'm going to go through that. Just so you know, a reminder that the first two activities you handed in from Unit 1 are not part of your mark. Today, I am marking your Activity 3 BuzzFeed responses, and you should be getting your first official mark based on that. And then I will be looking at the culminatings Thursday and Friday. So what you should be working on right now is Unit 3, which is your novel study. And, some people are confused, but really you just have to read through activities 1 and 2 to get a sense of what you need to do. So just quickly, if you look at Unit 1, before we even get to the novel, they've been reviewing a bunch of key concepts that come back over and over in English, including literary devices. You might have never have heard of the method of organization, but really they're just giving you nomenclature for ways of organizing thought. And ultimately, since you're on a university track, one of the main ways you'll be evaluated in the future, not to mention in grade 12, is whether you are able to organize thought on paper in the written form. And that unit of measurement and of thought synthesis is the essay. And that's why so much effort is put into teaching that process. And it takes work and it takes practice. So that's kind of where we're heading. So you'll notice in all the questions, they ask you to identify the thesis. They ask you to use textual support to justify your responses. Most of this is probably a review. If it's not, you've had two opportunities in the Sojourners and then the BuzzFeed piece to, sharpen those skills. Okay. So now we're moving on to the novel study. You will continue to apply that knowledge. The first thing you need to do when you go to the content, let me go back to activity 1, is it goes through what a book club is, what your book choices are for your activity. Here are your text choices: The Kite Runner, Thousand Splendid Sun, The Book of Negros, 3-Day Road, King Lear by William Shakespeare, and The Bite of the Mango. I would not do Shakespeare on your own right now. I would do one of the other ones. And I did say that if you wanted to read your own novel, it had to be something by a local author, or it had to be something that would complement your learning about anti-racism. You can give me the title of the novel that you want to check out, and I will let you know whether it's appropriate or not. I have had a couple people suggest some titles before, but it seemed to me that they were just trying to grasp at straws, and that maybe they were just in the middle of reading a book and they felt like studying it, but that's not going to cut it right now. Then it goes through some reading strategies, how to make connection to the text. You should look at all those: text to text, text to self, text to world. There's all sorts of ways to make connections. And that's what you should be doing as you're reading through. Here's a question grid, how to ask yourself questions, the different types of them: factual, predictive, analytical, application, synthesis. All of this is easy to read through, and I don't think any of it really needs a lesson. If you're unclear, you can always ask me about it, by the way. So they then start to talk about a reader's log or journal. You are not responsible for handing that in to me, but it will help you with the synthesis paper if you're taking notes as you go on. So you can use this reader's journal to do that. I will never look at it, so you don't have to, but it would probably help you to eventually get to the point where you can do your synthesis paper. And here is the criteria for your synthesis paper. So you're going to submit the synthesis paper twice. Once after you do the first 40 pages, you're going to submit it in a discussion, and your peers are going to comment on it twice. You're then going to submit it when you finish the novel, and that will be due to me next week, early next week. And you can submit your final copy on it. Remember, this is not like writing an essay where you have a structured thesis and you're trying to answer a question. It tells you exactly what it is here. It's a series of reflections, really. And that can be very broad, but just make sure that you have followed this success criteria and the rubric, and you will do fine. I've run out of time. I'm going to have an office hour later in the week. And if you ever want to speak in person, just send me a message and I will make it happen. Have a good day.